Hi guys, I'm Steex, audio video production. Today, no any guitar because we are talking about the Cortex Control application new from Neural DSP. As you can see, I have here the new Cortex Control software, here my Quad Cortex, all is connected. So let's jump into the software and let's see how it behaves. First of all, this is a beta software, so there is room for improvement. Maybe you want some updates, maybe you want some new features. You can request this and you can also report some bug, because here you have the submit feedback bug, and this is really important for Neural DSP to know everything what is going on, because of course you can have a Mac, Windows, you can have a different iOS, so maybe you have some different behaviors, maybe there are some incompatibility maybe with your Quad Cortex, so I don't know. So you can report everything. This is a really great approach, in my opinion, from Neural DSP. You have only to connect via the USB. USB is also provided by Quad Cortex. I'm not using the original USB from Quad Cortex because it was in the box basically, so I have here another USB connected and it is recognized really fastly. Let's start from the things that I don't like about this Cortex Control. The first thing is, as you can see, my screen is not totally covered because it's not an 9:16 ratio. So as you can see, as all the Neural DSP plugin, you can decide the various kind of dimension, so the size, but you can also use, so it's completely sizable. It's really great, this. But as you can see, if you use this full size, it's covered only parts of my screen because it's not on a 16:9 ratio. So I prefer to have all my desktop covered. So if it's possible, maybe to enlarge in this size and to move maybe this part all the way to the left, so it will cover just a bit better. But this is my personal opinion looking my screen, okay? So of course, to use the Cortex Control, you need to register the iLock account to the Neural DSP website, because this is needed for the license. So you need to do that. Now let's talk about the Cortex Control. Basically, you can do everything you already did in the Quad Cortex. Nothing is changed at the level of the routing, create your routing and stuff. The only thing that have been implemented is the backup. This is really important. Now you have a local backup and you can go basically here. You can see device settings and you can go on the backups. Now you have the cloud backups, so the same of the Quad Cortex, but you have also the local backups, so you can store your backup directly into PC or Mac and recall it. And this is great, in my opinion, because a lot of people requested this feature. Another feature that has been implemented with the Cortex Control, it's a really difficult name for me, Cortex Control, is that now you have the impulse responses that you can load directly from the Cortex Control. So you can still pass through the Cortex Cloud, but you can also do that in the Cortex Control. So the Cortex Cloud is still necessary if you have multiple Quad Cortex and you want to share your impulse responses. So the Cortex Cloud is really great for this reason. But if you have only one Quad Cortex, you can basically drag and drop your impulse responses directly from your PC in the Cortex Control and then download in the Quad Cortex. So let me show you. You have to go to the directory. Here on this left side, you can see these impulse responses. And now you have cloud IRs. So here you have all the impulse responses that you have imported on the cloud. And you can, of course, load your impulse response directly to the cloud from here, from the Cortex Control. But also, if you go here in impulse responses, you can drag directly here and will be very fast to recall on the Quad Cortex. So, talking about the Cortex Control, above you have, of course, the submit feedbacks bug, the grid and the directory. So basically on the grid you have all the presets that you are customizing. So you can see here the preset that you have all in your Quad Cortex, the banks, and you can also search. Everything that you did in the Quad Cortex is exactly the same. And of course you have here all the stuff that you want to import, drag and drop. If you go to directory, here you have these different bars, so you can search from preset, from neural captures, from impulse responses. You have your starred, your favorites. You have all the presets that you have, cloud presets, so what you have already uploaded, the factory presets, and my presets here, so you can see everything and you can recall everything. It's not recalling on the, yes, it's recalling now. Double click and it's recalling. So basically, when you use only one click, that's nothing, but if you double click, it's recalling on the Quad Cortex. And you can see this is active. So when you play, you are playing with this preset. Here are all the options open on grid. So basically you can see this on the grid. So it's basically a mirror with the Quad Cortex. So you can do your routing as always. Then if you go again to the directory, here we have our neural captures. So everything about the captures. You can download capture that you have on the cloud capture, so your own captures uploaded. Here you have all the different gain structure, so the infos, the library for the captures, factory, and my captures. And then, of course, the impulse response that I've already told you. If I click here on the neural DSP, is popping up this device setting, which is basically the same as I go here, and then device settings is the same, okay? Here in the device settings, you can see your accounts. So you have your account here, backups, I already told you, and then of course all the things regarding Quad Cortex, the connection. As you can see, it's written Quad Cortex is using your computer's internet connection. So with the USB, you are using basically the connection of the computer and no more the Wi-Fi, okay? Then you can see the brightness and is changing accordingly, as you can see. So all is communicating really well. Power functions, the sensitivity, if you want to shut down or reboot, and so on and so forth. Lock Quad Cortex, global bypass. Here you can decide what you want to bypass. As you can see, is bypassing all the row, okay? And it's also changing here. As you can see, this cabinet, if I choose bypass, is bypassing everything. So basically, in this way, you can use the Quad Cortex with real cabinet, okay? In just one click. All your preset will have bypassed cabinet. This is very important, and also for the impulse responses, you can decide this. Scene bypass state behavior, so you can decide this. MIDI settings here, disk space, lot of space I have. Factory reset, maybe not, and contact and about. Okay, these are the settings. Always in the above part, you have this undo, of course, but you have also this lovely knob for the volume. So this is basically this volume knob, and it's really useful to also have here. Then as you can see here, you can go on the neural capture, I/O settings, mode configuration. So let's see all the I/O settings that you have here. So basically the same as I have here, for example, is the same visualization. You can decide which output you want to control, and so on and so forth. But what I want to show you is that here now you have this new neural capture, and as you can see now, if I skip this visualization because it's the same as the Quad Cortex, you have now this cap simulation with the new Core OS 2.0. I don't know, but you have this cap simulation. This is really, really useful when you do captures, because if you capture only your amplifier, you want to listen how it behaves with different cap simulation, different impulse responses. You can do that now. So this cap sim is only to listen what is going on. So will not captured inside your Quad Cortex when you do capture, okay? So you can start the capture. You can also on with the cap sim. You can see the cap simulation here, and you can choose with different cabinet you want. You can move the microphone 1, microphone 2. You can change, of course, the mic, and you can listen how it sounds. You can also use your own impulse responses here, for example, single, mono. And as you can see, it's changed the behavior, because here is my impulse response. You can load the impulse response that you have already in your Quad Cortex, so not what you have on your PC. And you can listen, of course, the sound with your impulse response. You can also bypass it. The visualization is changing, and then you can capture and basically you can store your capture. So this is really interesting. You have here the volume for your headphones and the volume of the overall unit. In my opinion, this Cortex control is really well implemented. Here on the bottom you have the tuner, of course. You have the tempo. You can decide the tempo of the global tempo, scene. Oh, this is new. I didn't notice this. So you can also decide the tempo per each scene, so per each song, for example. You can also tap here for the tempo, as you can see. Okay, the MIDI, so you can assign whatever you want, expression 1, expression 2, you can create everything. The gig view, this is really cool because you have on the eye both your routing and gig view. Instead, in the Quad Cortex, you can see one at a time. So this is really powerful, in my opinion. So here, as you can see, you can do the same. So click and you can raise it to default, set parameter, assign. So it's really user-friendly, guys. Presets, you can see all the presets here that you have in the Quad Cortex, of course, in this kind of bank, right? Okay, clicking, you can bypass basically in the routing what you want, and it's bypassing accordingly also on the Quad Cortex, and also here, preset. Okay, it takes a while to recall all the presets, the entire preset, of course. It's faster on the Quad Cortex, but it has to communicate on the Cortex Control. Scene. Also here, the scene has some latency to recall, as you can see, but in the Quad Cortex is faster. As you can see, it's almost immediate to recall the scene. It's faster, as you can see. I can go almost immediately here on the Quad Cortex, but there is some latency here on the Cortex Control. Okay, a bit of latency. it's going. Okay, then you have here the CPU, and you can see the CPU per each parameter, and here, of course, your global EQ. Here on the global EQ, when you have done with this visualization, you go to done, and you can see again the settings here on, I don't know why, the I/O settings. So basically in the same visualization. So basically in the same view you have both the global EQ and the settings. So it's in Syria, I don't know why. Anyway, here you can see the Cortex Control that it's beta v0.6.0.22. I don't want to go in detail in every aspect of the Cortex Control because it's basically the same as the Quad Cortex, but if you have the Quad Cortex, you can see yourself all the settings. It's really user-friendly. Maybe a right click and you can see all the kind of settings you can do. Assignment, here you can decide the input here on the left. If you go here on the row, again other kind of output you can decide. So it's really user friendly, guys. You have the link in the description. If you want to know more about the Cortex Control, download it. It's free, of course, if you have the Quad Cortex, and of course I'll see you in the next video. Bye.